How is everybody doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about our second character coming in version 1.4 of Zenless Zone Zero. And funny enough, if you haven't already watched Miyabi's video, I said how she's going to be our first character, but Harumasa is also going to be joining her as being our first character for version 1.4 because we are getting Harumasa for free. So this video, in all honesty, makes a lot more sense to look at when it comes to a character that you're actually going to have on your account, because anybody that's playing Zenless Zone Zero, whether you are a new player or an old player, you're both going to be getting Harumasa, which is a really nice thing overall, just to get a brand new character for free. And it is going to be an electric character for the attack roll, which, in all honesty, we haven't gotten an attack roll character since version 1.2 or 1.1. I forgot exactly when they started doing the attack characters. I think Zhu Yin was our last one. I think I could be completely wrong, but we have seen that Anomaly has basically shifted into the main form of damage, and in all honesty, I think it's going to stay that way in regards to the Anomaly class being the big heads when it comes to the majority of the DPS that we're going to see in Zenless Zone Zero. And looking at Harumasa's kit right now, I do think I understand what they're going for in terms of what the attack roll is going to do now, and it's in his kit, which I'm going to be explaining while we look at it in the background, which majority of it is going to be him generating stacks or being able to attack with gaining these stacks and making these enemies marked with a certain debuff, I guess you could say, which is the X mark, and that is going to allow him to do more damage as time goes by. Now, the main thing that is the key takeaway to this character's kit is later down the end of this showcase of what they're doing with Harumasa, they do say that Harumasa does do more damage with other characters either taking damage from the X mark or whenever an anomaly disorder or anomaly reaction is triggered. So I do think I kind of understand what they're going around with now when it comes to the role of an attack character, and I think, in all honesty, it makes a lot of sense, especially with what we're going to be seeing with the future character updates, with us having 3 ultimates now in one team and not having a shared ultimate. This means that characters like Harumasa, characters like Zhu Yin are going to be getting a really big buff. I do think Ellen as well will be getting a nice buff, but not to the degree of Zhu Yin and Harumasa, just because Zhu Yin gets an insta reload, which you would always prioritize her over anybody else's on the team, while Harumasa, he's actually going to be giving himself an extra increase of damage whenever he uses ultimate, which is a pretty big buff for him, especially looking at, we don't have to worry about these characters not getting the resources that they could be getting with us having shared ultimates. So it is going to be really nice to see that we are going to be seeing characters like Chingy, characters like Ambi, all of these other stun characters help out the team that they're going to be on, and especially with Harumasa basically being able to have the section 6 faction and of course being lightning. We're gonna see that these characters are going to be working together with Miyabi and Yanagi, which makes 1000% sense, having the anomaly disorder or anomaly reaction buff, as you see in the bottom left. Let me move my camera. As you can see, it says upon activating the skill, which is the ultimate, obtain 3 points of fallen frost and increase ice damage dealt by 30%. So I'm not gonna lie, this is a little crazy that they gave this to Harumasa, and I actually read it wrong the first time I looked at it because I thought it was increasing his damage by 30%. No, this is actually going to be giving ice damage dealt by 30%. So we already know what's going to happen. It's going to be Miyabi, Harumasa, Yanagi. That's going to be the best team in the game, or possibly, because a lot of people seem to forget, Chingy exists as well. And having a stunner on an anomaly team, that just means bonus damage. You don't necessarily have to have the enemy stunned, but having that stun damage multiplier is a really big deal, especially when it comes to the enemies not being able to do anything and you're just doing absolutely mass damage to them. So there are going to be a lot of teams, in all honesty, that Miyabi is going to be able to work on and also be able to play around with when it comes to all these buffs that surround her. Yanagi with disorder spam. We have Harumasa now that has the ultimate bonus to ice damage for some reason, which I think is really funny because this is basically tailor making Harumasa for Miyabi. So it's actually a really good time to start Zenless Zone Zero if you haven't already, or get back into it, because Harumasa is just a free teammate that you're going to get that's an S rank, that's actually going to be good, and it's tailor made to Miyabi, who everyone is going to be pulling for because we've all been waiting for Miyabi's release, which is a really great thing overall. I think having the conjunction of us having 3 supers in the game, which I will be making a video talking about every character that benefits from this, because a lot of y'all probably don't know a lot of these guys and what they do with their ultimates and the buffs that you're going to be seeing with these characters. I think the meta is going to shift over its head just because of this new update with the 3 ultimates, and a lot of characters are about to gain a crap ton of value. While some probably stay at the same level, a lot of them are probably going to shoot and skyrocket up because they're now available to use their ultimate with. Characters like stunners, supports, gonna get a massive buff because now they actually can use their ultimate, while characters like damage dealers are not going to see that much of an increase, and while anomaly characters are going to see a massive increase, especially characters like Bernice. I think Bernice probably gets the best value out of it just because she's still the only character to this day or at this moment that has an ultimate that you can switch out of. So this means you can use her ultimate and then maybe use Yanagi's ultimate, and then they both start doing massive anomaly damage, which would be some really cool stuff to see. I'm not gonna lie, looking at Harumasa or looking at the new meta that we're gonna be looking at, yeah, Harumasa is dropping in at a good time, and I really do think that they have in a way given us some type of actual concrete evidence on what the attack was supposed to do, and it looks like they're just going to bounce off all their other teammates, kind of like how Ellen works with Lighter, with Lycan, having Sokaku. You build all those buffs up with ice resistance decrease, with ice damage boosting, and then Ellen does her job. Same thing with Juyin. You have Nicole for the ether boosting, and then you have, let's say, Chingy for the damage multiplier, and then you allow Juyin to basically nuke the enemy. Same thing goes for Harumasa. I think they're just going to be working in the same fashion and route that all these characters that are able to do what they're supposed to do. So Miyabi and Yanagi being able to spam Disorder, Frostburn, and also Shock. With Harumasa being able to gain a damage boost based on characters taking a Disorder. That's a pretty big thing because that allows him to do some damage after Miyabi and Yanagi are in cooldown with their energy, waiting for them to get that, waiting for them to get their ultimate, and then Harumasa is able to take the field, do damage, and also on his way out use his ultimate to be able to switch into Miyabi, which is going to allow her to do a lot more damage than if you didn't have him on the team. So overall, they're working around giving these characters a lot of synergistic properties when it comes to being able to do DPS and also to support at the same time, which I think is a really nice thing. It makes it really fun to see how fluid the combat is going to get, and especially with us getting more game modes, it looks like we're getting a 3-team end game mode, which is actually really fun. It allows you to play the characters that you have on your team. I know this is going to be a little bit hard for certain accounts that haven't been pulling as much or are getting back into the game or starting the game, but I will probably be making a video on that mode when it comes out. I'm really excited overall to see how the meta is shaping up, especially with Miyabi and Harumasa's release. It is going to be a really good time for version 1.4, especially with all the quality of life updates and all the really big changes coming to Zenless Zone Zero. So if you all are excited for this section 6 patch or this 1.4 patch with the free Harumasa, let me know in the comments below. Are you going to be building Harumasa? Because again, he is free and he will be a good teammate for Miyabi. So if you don't have a full team, let's say you don't have Yanagi, you don't have someone like Chingy or something like that, Harumasa is actually going to be a good replacement just because of all the properties that he has in regards to support for ice damage, which is really, really specific and really, really unique for one specific character. Hey, maybe you could use Harumasa with someone like Ellen. Probably not, because they both probably want to take a lot of time on the field. I think the team of Yanagi, Miyabi, and also Harumasa, that might be a little bit too much field time for everybody because everyone kind of wants to be their own main DPS. Yanagi can be a little bit more burst oriented, being able to do a couple of disorders, do her ultimate, leave. While someone like Miyabi definitely wants to be on the field a lot longer, and Harumasa is definitely going to be taking a bit of field time on that. But let's see if this ultimate update changes that in any way, shape, or form. If they're going to be changing the rotation times, which I'm 100% sure it is, when it comes to having all these characters together and being able to see who shares that main damage field time, because being able to see which characters you're going to be using on field and which ones are going to be in the backline for a quick minute is going to be quite a bit. Now, one thing I do want to know, or one thing I would love to know about his kit is there any quick assists in portion to his kit? Because if there is any quick assist in this kit, that will be a pretty big deal, just because it will allow you to be able to actually get the, I guess you could say, damage done quicker and being able to easily switch into the other character, making it super fast and making it super easy to get into the other characters and allow them to have their time on the field. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Harumasa. There really isn't that much from the stream itself that we know in regards to all of his kit. We just know that he can support Miyabi with his ultimate, and that he does his main damage dealing after people trigger disorders, after people trigger reactions, which is going to be, of course, section 6 specialty or any other anomaly characters that you're going to be putting on top of someone like Harumasa. Really cool character. I do kind of understand what they're doing with the attack role. It's not supposed to be a main damage dealer role in a way, I guess you could say, but it's more supposed to be a, while these characters are taking a bit of a cooldown, let me go ahead and do my damage. My job is to do damage, but I can do other stuff too. I don't know. It might be not a little as clear cut as most other roles are, but I do think the attack role is still doing what it's supposed to do, just DPS, and being able to build off of other characters. I think that's the main thing there. While Anomaly is like a mix of like everything, and then all the other roles actually do what their role says. But in that, thank you guys so much for watching on this end video. See y'all guys in the next one. Peace.